And I wonder if that could lead to like a identity crisis because you're balancing between your how you were, how the world views you, and now you're viewing yourself differently, and now you want the world to view this way. Like, how do we
Yeah.
find a balance then between the two?
Whoa, hard work. That's where that's where you it takes patience, and this isn't it takes communication, and it takes courage, and it takes going through all of the things that led you. For example, it's easier if we take one thing. Let's just say you were always a pleaser. Okay. So it's easier to take a metaphor and sort of like, use that instead of all over the place. So if you were always a pleaser and you realized you were doing that because you never really thought you were worthy, that you were, the bottom root, lovable, so you always pleased to get that back. Someone would, love you, accept you. But you found after a while it was because you were building up resentment. You weren't looking after yourself. And all of a sudden you go to a therapist and you have this epiphany and you have this, oh, that's why I'm doing it. And you realize you are lovable, that that wasn't the truth. And you say, I'm not going to do it from that place. If I want to please, I'll please from a place of joy because I want to. And you checking in with yourself, am I doing it because I feel obliged or because I want them to love me or to like me? You make those changes. The outside world says, what the heck is going on? Would I ever asked you for something, you always said yes. you know and you're going to get that back. And so yeah, there's a little bit, oh, is this okay, is this not okay, because you're not quite grounded in who you are, and the world is saying like, this wasn't who you are, what happened to you, this is not okay. And there's going to be a weeding out process of those that will move along with your transformation and those that were only in your life, let's say, that were always takers, and now you're not giving, so I'm moving off. Or the pressure or that disgruntled mirror back, like what's wrong with you, can bring up that little bit because you're not fully there yet and fully integrated into not having that behavior and that pattern. You can get pulled back into it. Next thing you're doing the same thing again because it's just like, that's why I did it, because that was my reason why I pleased to begin with, is so somebody would love me, somebody would think I was great, or whatever the case may be.
And how does that affect the person in their relationships? Let's say at work or romantic relationships, or even with just their personal relationships. How would that impact them?
Huge. It does. I mean, like, who are you? Like, this was not the person who I got the relationship into. So in the series that I have, it's learning how to communicate it in a compassionate way, instead of this hard, well, I'm never going to do this and that's it. It's just like, I used to, and you share your experience about it. But you can either move with the relationship and share, in a compassionate way, this is where I'm changing, this is what I realize, and you open the dialogue. And it may take time for them to get used to you this way. So in my series, I have all these little things that you can do and how you can do it. It does not mean, however, that it's a guaranteed thing, because some people are there for a reason, and not for the full thing. They're not moving and growing along with you. And it's just like, no, this is who you were supposed to be. This is why I got attracted to you, because you were always the giver and now you've stopped. Or you were always the doormat, or you were always this, or you were always, and it can be something that's perceived as positive too. You were always the strong one. And then you have a breakdown, and then you realize, hey, I've not been receiving in my life. I was always, doing and giving and doing all that. And then I had a crisis, and now I'm just realized there's nothing left in me and I want to receive. How come you're not giving to me?